from time to time we'll get a call from someone who's a meditator, and they want to check and see how well they're doing with their meditation. And it's actually a very straightforward session. We do the alpha theta training with neurofeedback. That's eyes closed training, and we can really assess where they're going in their meditation. And for example, one guy had been a meditator for a number of years, but he commented that after a certain number of minutes, it just seemed like it was futile. And indeed, when we put him into an alpha theta session, at almost exactly the number of minutes he had stated, indeed he fell off track. And so we stopped and talked about what was going on, and it helped the guy out. He came back a few times, and we were able to lengthen that time where he was staying in his desired meditation zone, little by little, to where he nearly doubled the time he could stay into the meditation zone he was wanting. And meditators seem to want different things out of meditation, and I personally am not a strong meditator. I have to depend on them to tell me where they want to go. But that being said, once they tell us where they want to go, we can very easily measure and record anything they want, and we can send them home with a graph of what they did.
So, but what is alpha theta that we're doing here? Okay, so alpha theta is a type of guided oral, and even though it's eyes closed, it still is a visual assisted neurofeedback session where we are monitoring your EEG, and most meditators are trying to achieve an optimal state of alpha. Alpha, think of it being sort of neutral in park, and in general, when we're in an alpha state, we're in neutral, ready to either go to sleep down into a delta state or go into a beta state, either moving or a task on hand beta. And what we're trying to do is focus more on not only alpha, but the state right below that, which is theta. Theta is, as I've mentioned earlier, sort of associated with light REM, and it's necessary for daydreaming, and it's also necessary to be in that state for logical thinking, to come up with for critical higher functioning thinking, if you will. So we are using a neurofeedback session to focus specifically on not only alpha but theta. Theta normally sits right below alpha as far as amplitude is concerned. We're trying to help the two invert, and that creates a much deeper state of relaxation, and therefore a meditative state. So that is done by, from an oral point of view. So when you were making feedback goals, there's a certain sense of there are certain sounds that are used to guide you that way. And we deal with some visualization techniques. So we may guide you through a place where you feel comfortable, relaxed at. Most of the oral sounds that are used in a typical alpha theta session are sounds of water, a babbling brook, the ocean. You'll hear a series of buoys, pings, and buoy gongs, and you're trying to get to the ocean, if you will. So we help people visualize thinking that they're having a nice relaxing walk on the beach. And once we can have that happen, and once people achieve an actual inverted alpha theta state, we ask them to remember how that felt. And so the more they do that, the more that they can recreate that by themselves outside of the office here, the neurofeedback session.